I think we're live now, Greg. Welcome to Left to Center.
Left of center.
Oh,
Phil told me this was LOCPOD.
RockPod?
Yeah.
Oh, right of center?
Right of center.
I think if he told Tom that, we might not have got the show.
No.
But welcome to apparently Season 8, Episode 7. What constitutes a season? Because this hasn't been 8 years.
No, definitely not 8 years.
I guess they didn't leave us that information. This is January 24th, 2023. My name's David Uran. I'm the president and CEO of the South Shore Convention and Visitors Authority. And to my left to center,
Yep.
would be Greg Falkowski. He's our Chief Operating Officer for the South Shore as well. And we also have a special guest in the audience that we're going to get here in a few minutes. But if anybody's wondering who's next to me on my right would be Larry Hall, who is the owner of Pickle Time in Crown Point, which is probably the fastest growing sport in the nation, world, maybe, Larry?
I would say in the nation for sure.
Yeah. So we're going to dive deep into that a little bit here. But apparently, for us to be able to talk about all the topics today, we have to talk about our advertisements and sponsors.
You want to start off with that?
I will. I'm going to start off with Tri Electronics. Tri Electronics wants to be your complete communications provider. Tri Electronics has been a leader in the industry for more than 55 years, Greg. 55 years and growing. They are very dedicated to assisting their clients with their system integration needs. Tri Electronics has the expertise and experience to provide superior results for a wide variety of projects. For more information, call Tri Electronics today at 800-722-6793. Again, 800-722-6793. You'd think there'd be like a website or something on this.
Yeah, for the computer company.
Yeah, for something that's like
communicating.
Facebook account, something. Yeah. But if not, you know what? Give that Tri Electronics a call today at that number. I'm sure they'll share all that information with you.
Maybe we'll give out Tom's cell phone number later.
Personally?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He would like that.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Donovan would get those calls all day long.
Mm-hmm.
He's very proactive when it comes to...
Very receptive.
Yes. So the next one would be...
Oh, Calumet Brewing. It's time to experience Michelob Ultra with only 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, and 4.2 ABV. It's a perfect way to start the new year and keep those resolutions in check. Unless you're in dry January.
Yeah.
But... whether you're a pro athlete, a daily step counter, the journey is only worth it if you enjoy it. That's why Michelob Ultra brews a light lager that's worth every single sip. So no matter if you're kicking back after a workout or enjoying a day on the slopes, you're sure to enjoy a great beer. Head over to Cal Brew or the Michelob Ultra websites and social media pages for details on this great family of beers. Enjoy the Ultra lifestyle with beers and cheers responsibly.
You would think maybe they would have something here this morning that we can actually show our viewers what a Michelob Ultra would look like.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Yeah.
What are you guys talking about, this dry January stuff?
Well, some people have dry... we should talk. Chris is behind the scenes today. So, Chris, you want to introduce yourself? Because apparently everybody in this office today has never been together like this before. So, Chris, introduce yourself so our viewers and people on Facebook and, know who you are.
I am Chris. I'm the B team. That's me.
He's trying to save the C team here.
Yeah.
So that's it. He's known as Chris. He's like Cher.
Yeah.
Yeah. When it comes to
just one name.
One name. So thanks, Chris. Hopefully everything's working well. Can you hear us?
Yeah. Yeah, we're live. So I pushed the button correctly.
There we go. So I guess we have to continue because if not, the lights are going to go off here. Speaking of lights, Power America. Are you looking for a new career in 2023? If you are a person who enjoys working with your hands in challenging or ever-changing environment, an electrical apprenticeship might be for you. Earn a competitive wage while you gain valuable experience, Greg. Did we mention the employer pays for your benefits, including health insurance, pension, and an annuity? If so, visit, apply697.com. POW, sponsored by Powering America. POW, as they call it. POW. So.
We'll do one more ad. Rogers Roofing, when you want the best for your home, the family trust the best in the business. Rogers Roofing. Rogers Roofing has transformed homes in Northwest Indiana and Chicagoland for more than 54 years, providing quality roofing, siding, gutters, windows, all backed by the best warranties in the industry. To learn more and to schedule your free consultation, visit rogersroofing.com or call 219-933-9145. That's rogersroofing.com, 219-933-9145. And remember, at Rogers Roofing, excellence is expected every time.
We have one more. Misprint Printing. Misprint specializes in delivering the highest quality of signs and printing on time and under budget. That's two key things. You want it on time and less than what you thought you were going to pay for it. Misprint Experiences has experience and technology allows them to customize, commercialize, and on-demand printing and sign solutions. So let's give this company, who's been in Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana for over 30 years. They have two convenient locations, one in Munster and Hammond. So we give Rick a call, or I don't have a number, but I guess you can look it up, right? Yeah. So
Google.
we're looking for Google's a nice thing. Misprint printing. Okay, it says stop ads part 2 next page. I guess that's later, right?
We'll do that later.
Okay. All right. So we did our contractual obligations that we were told to do.
Mm-hmm.
So now here we are. I was going through. It's kind of convenient that Tom left all his information here. Season 4, episode 24. All this other notes that are right here. It looks like there's like a laundry list of people that they look who do this show, and our names aren't even on this.
No.
So it's like scratch off, scratch off, scratch off. We go to the next page, and then I say, oh, maybe I shouldn't read that. That's these are all private notes. I should just leave that alone. But yeah, but here we are. So we're going to talk about sports, leisure, tourism, and what we have done in the past over the last just 6 months, but we've done historically from our other positions to where we're at today, about how economic development in Northwest Indiana has a big part of success with sports being in its background.
Absolutely. I think Mayor Land at Crown Point is keeping that going right now with a big project at the Sportsplex.
Yeah, they're currently renovating, I believe, 7 of the 10 fields out there, and putting turf infields. And you've kind of seen over social media some of the larger directors of these large sports events, your NSA, your USA Baseball, USSSA, have all put out there in their book of business and all their followers how this new Crown Point Sportsplex upgrades are going to be ready for the spring. And that's really, got people excited for the next softball, baseball season coming up.
So for those who don't know, what is turf change from a typical skinned infield?
Well, you and I both know. I think we need to let our viewers know that. For one, it's a better experience play, during, whether you're there in the first day on a tournament or the last day on a Sunday, you're going to get more of a consistent play. So you're going to have a better opportunity out there to have less errors, more consistent play in the field. But from a city perspective, the logistics of maintaining it, weather, Mother Nature is probably the number one thing that we have out on an outdoor venue that can really disrupt a quality of a tournament. So if you have rain delays and you got to put mix out there to try to dry the fields up, that stuff could really delay the game or maybe cancel a tournament. Turf will allow you to get through that type of weather element. An hour or two later, you're playing as if nothing took place, and the quality of the competition in the field becomes paramount as you're able to resume play. And the consistency on that for the players, but also from the city's perspective, will make that a much more better experience, but saving along the day. I think you've done a great job when you were the chief of staff at the city of Crown Point to look at the difference between, what we do on a skin infield and what turf would do on a 5, 10, 20-year basis, and how much money that would save just on materials and time.
Yeah, some of the stats are just basically you can almost get 4 times as many hours of play in a year versus skin infield. In our area, you can start earlier and you can end later, and during the day you can start earlier and end later. So the hours and a business side that the city's going to be able to rent those for is going to return their investment quickly. So.
Well, we live in Northwest Indiana, right? And what does that mean? You can get 4 seasons in one day. So, I mean, the weather application in Northwest Indiana is difficult to maintain and predict. But especially when you do it logistically and you bring these large tournaments in, like, I'm displaying the NSA logo here, and we have the World Series that comes to Northwest Indiana. You're expecting 200 teams to come through a particular time. And, if Mother Nature would come in and disrupt that, and people would see maybe that this week would be a bad week to play, what's the first thing they're going to do? They're going to cancel. Mm-hmm. Hotels don't get their people to stay in the hotels. The restaurants don't get the customers that they're expecting to come in. And staffing is now reduced because you have a reduced amount of customers coming through. So it is a domino effect. But having those turf fields in Crown Point will make sure that the likelihood of a tournament being completed in some capacity will take place, and those customers are going to come here and they're going to leave their disposable income here. That's right. And that's the economic wheel that brings money into Northwest Indiana. So it's a huge investment.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. So coming this March, late March, and they've had a great winter to do construction.
Yeah.
So those are going to be done on time and hopefully under budget.
On time and under budget.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
misprint part of the project here. So
Yeah. I know I've been out there and I've seen one of our local contractors, Austin Equipment, who's doing the work, who's done work all around the region on turf fields from football to soccer to baseball. So comes in with a lot of experience, and Dave usually gets the job done on time. So looking forward to that. I know.
Talk about Dave Austin.
Dave Austin. Yeah, not you, Dave.
Yeah, because it's always a challenge.
Yeah. I know I'm looking forward to it. Selfishly, my kids' 11U baseball team, we have 3 tournaments already scheduled in April. So
Nice.
make sure you get that done.
Nice. My kids are all growing up.
Yeah.
So
You got some still playing on turf fields.
one.
One.
So football, but it's first of all, we're talking about tournaments and the opportunity for bringing visitors to Northwest Indiana, but selfishly for Crown Point and the in-house leagues, the Monday through Thursday application, that is going to be huge for those players to experience quality and consistency on when it comes to outdoor activities, especially when you're playing baseball and softball. And you can actually convert those fields. I mean, they're in the market share of the size fields dimensions that baseball and softball can coexist on those fields in Crown Point.
Absolutely.
And so it sets the example for the other municipalities around us too. I know that Valpo has a huge project coming in, and Crown Point and Valpo have that long history of similar type communities, square, same size. We've always in the past allowed Valpo to kind of do it first,
Yeah.
and then we would do it bigger and better in Crown Point. Mayor Costas and I had that relationship, and I always tell John over there to go ahead, and Mayor Murphy's picked up that baton, and I think he's kind of used our recipe now, and he's watching Mayor Land do what he's going to do over there, and then bring it back to Valpo. But
I wouldn't call it a competition, but I mean, if
well,
it
no,
was,
well, somebody's got to finish second.
yeah.
But that's another topic for another day. But we're here to talk about left to center, things that bring in tourism to Northwest Indiana, especially in Hammond, because they're a Hammond Sportsplex up there, the indoor facility side.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, we hosted, the largest Division II volleyball tournament in the nation, right here in Northwest in Hammond at the Hammond Sportsplex. And besides volleyball, they play basketball and stuff like that in there. And they got something for the kids, the adults. They've got a restaurant. They've got I'm sure Calumet Brewery is probably inside. They're probably serving some of those Michelob.
Yeah.
Whether it's January or whatever month it is. It's a complete complex over there off of Indianapolis Boulevard, and Mayor Tom and his team should be very proud to have something like that here in Northwest Indiana. For us to be able to sell it, it's easy because it's a great facility.
It is.
Larry, have you been inside there?
I have. In fact, our youngest son plays a lot of basketball, and we have been there, I want to say, the last 3-4 years.
Yeah.
It really is amazing. Every time you walk in there, it's structured. You know where you're going. It's clean, and everybody just comes in and out just either exhausted from the games they played, but everybody has a good experience. Like you said, the restaurant, you go upstairs, downstairs. It really is a good venue because you can see from the top, look down, and just be comfortable with what you're doing. And from the coaching aspect, they move things along really well. So who's ever organizing the tournaments or the facility itself, it really is a fun place to go to.
Yeah, and I know that our director of sports and leisure, Megan Gooden, is always excited to have an opportunity to showcase a product that when Hammond Sportsplex involved, it's pretty easy for us to come in here and make everybody look good because that's a testament to what you just said. The staffing over there takes pride in what they do. The facilities by themselves speak for themselves.
Sure.
But you have to have the operational side of it to make sure that you're maintaining it and have that first experience be your best experience. And that's why we're always excited for an opportunity to showcase that location within our book of business.
Yeah, and then the success is showing. I mean, there's another hotel going up at Kennedy Avenue right now that I think just opened its doors. So that means the Sportsplex is being successful and people are coming to the area. So congratulations to Hammond on that.
Well, I mean, before we dive into our show, I mean, I know we're talking a little bit of the peripheral side of what we do. We did bring some gifts to leave here in this collage of things and people have left over the time. I know that when I was in a show, I brought the bowling pin because Hammond definitely squeaked out a victory over Crown Point one time, and so we that was the pin that was signed off on. And but it looks like everybody's brought some things here, so we kept that tradition. We're going to leave some some tumblers here that both Kevin and the mayor can use for the South Shore. So we're going to leave that as well. We've also brought him a hat in case he wants to wear something in the wintertime or the summertime.
What's that hat for?
This is for the Crossroads Bowl. This is for the Division II college football that was taking place here in Northwest Indiana that we're pretty much the host on. And
Yeah, where was that played at?
that was in Hobart at the Bricky Bowl.
That's a great event. That's a few days, right? The teams come in from the 2 conferences in the Great Lakes area.
Yes.
And they do a great job working with our local schools. So it's hosted at Hobart High School.
Yeah, for the last couple of years, it has been. Truman, again, I believe, won this year, and 28-27. They three-peated, so they won it 3 times.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're going to be actually meeting with the organizational group tomorrow. I would say weather pending is not the case. We're going to meet with them.
Yeah,
and,
a little snow doesn't scare us.
No, we've learned not to cancel.
No.
In Northwest Indiana. So we'll be going down to Indianapolis tomorrow and meeting with the commissioners and talking about not only football but basketball and volleyball and bringing back hopefully some of those collegiate tournaments here, conference tournaments here to Northwest Indiana, and using our facilities here in Northwest Indiana, which plays a big part of our book of business and how we support the municipalities and make sure that people have a sporting event take place, but more importantly, people get to visit our great Northwest Indiana.
Yeah. One thing that not a lot of people may know is what those student athletes give back to the community. And they spent a lot of time the days before the game in the Hobart elementary schools, going around, meeting the students, telling them what it's like to be a student athlete, student first, athlete second. They had dance-offs in the classrooms, snowball fights with paper. So they're creating memories for these kids that'll last a lifetime when they see, a group of 60, 80 football players that are larger than life to them.
Wow.
Well, and I think if you saw some of the video of that, the players themselves enjoyed it just as much as the fifth graders did. I mean, because it was experience on both sides. And you just never know when you have a chance to play in a sanctioned bowl game that, win or lose, the experience that you have is second to none. Those are the memories. Obviously, if you win, it probably means a little bit more, but just the experience itself, those teammates are going to have that bond the rest of their lives. And then, 10, 15 years down the road, they're going to, come back together and say, hey, remember when we were in Hobart, Indiana, and we played in the Division II Bowl, and, So we're going to leave that for Tom here. And we're also going to bring him a shirt. Chris, we brought an extra large for Tom. Is that going to be okay? Is that something that's solid size, or
honestly, I have no idea what size you wear.
Oh, that's a great answer.
I'll take it. I mean, I think that's a good size for me.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll leave it up here. If it's still here, I mean, we'll obviously know what it means. But if Chris, you take it, we understand that as well. So, Chris, how's our viewership out there? Is it like record numbers? I mean, I know a lot of people were anticipating this day with new blood coming in the office here, and so that excitement was really. Last night, the phone was ringing off the hook. People were, private messaging me and saying, "What time is this show? Take off, and we're going to watch it." And a lot of buzz in the air.
I'm going to assume it's huge.
Okay.
I wasn't taught how to do all that cool stuff. I am not actually on social media or any of that stuff. So
so we don't know if anybody's even listening or watching.
Well, you got a few people. I mean, Kevin said had fun today. So
Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kevin. At least he's up.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the hidden gems in Hammond, which relates to this gift, is that Mayor Tom, based on my time on the golf course with him, will utilize heavily, especially at Lost Marsh.
Yes.
A lot of water there at Lost Marsh, so we brought Mayor Tom a South Shore ball retriever.
Yeah.
When he makes contact.
He does hook the ball.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a baseball swing in there.
He does. He hooks the ball, which goes left.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Left to center of the fairway.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Could be.
Yeah. But, I mean, so we're talking about Lost Marsh, which has a nickname of Lost Ball.
Yeah.
So
tough course.
It is, it really is.
Especially when that wind comes off the lake.
I mean, it's always windy up there. When it's not windy in the rest of the region, you go to Lost Marsh, and all of a sudden it's 15 to 20 mile an hour winds no matter where you're at. Yeah. It always feels like it's in your face. So, Larry, you play golf?
I do not. I am very hyper, which is why I picked the sport that we have. Because you hit the ball, chase the ball, instead of hitting the ball hundreds of yards and I'll get there. somehow I'll get there and hit it again.
Chris, are we obligated at some point in time to go over more sponsors, or how does this work? Because we have some other things. Is there like you're going to put a hand up and say, "Hey, listen, another set of ads."
I think we can wait.
Whenever you feel like it.
Let's
it's your show, so
let's get into Pickle Time.
I know. I'm just making sure because we want to make sure that people who paid good money, to have their ads on one of probably the most viewable shows in the history of Left to Center.
Highest rated.
Yeah.
In Denmark,
Absolutely.
right?
And it is. I've heard that before.
Yeah.
So let's dive into pickleball here, and we got Larry Hall. He owns Pickle Time in Crown Point, Indiana. I believe the address is 11000 Delaware Parkway.
Or we can go 10960 Delaware Parkway.
Well, I just went off what was online.
It's no, it's 10960.
Did I write that down wrong? I have to look it up.
Yeah.
Oh. But while you're explaining where you're located at, I'm gonna check my math here.
Yeah, so we're off of 109th, and we're real close to I-65. So it makes it really easy to get to from the Crown Point area or off of I-65. So again, it's 10960.
That would make sense.
Parkway.
I completely wrote that down wrong.
It's okay. That's why we're here.
Look at, you saw what I wrote down.
I see it now. Yeah.
So how long have you been open, Larry?
We just hit a year and a half. And there's a lot of things that have happened in that year and a half. We have just bounced to another level in the last 5-6 months. You like how I did that?
Yeah, it bounce.
And in many different facets as well. It's in July we joked about we had 162 waivers. We were so excited. 162 new people. December we had 322. Now we know it's because it's wintertime, people looking for things to do indoors, but the amount of families that are coming out is really, really just becoming a big thing. It's we found that now we're bursting at the seams. So we are currently very stressfully looking for a second venue because my main concern is the people know how to play pickleball. They'll come in, they'll do their thing. But we got to take care of these families. Mm-hmm. The worst thing that Jen and myself find is that you have places packed, a lot of good players, and then you have a family of 4 walk in, and you have to give them that look. So that's why we said, it's time to make a move. It's great to be busy, successful, but we want to cater to everybody because pickleball literally is somebody from, if they're able to hold a paddle and run around the court, all the way, I'm not giving an age anymore. I've learned that lesson, not to give an age, but we have people in their 80s playing. And then we hear rumors of people in their early 90s, mid 90s, that are still playing. So we have to be able to cater to that. So we see the sign on the wall, and we're currently shopping around again.
But, you speak of families, you want to support them, but you're really a family business because I see Jen there. I see your son working. So it's a whole family affair.
Yeah, and we have, again, I mentioned a 14-year-old. He had asked me, when can I start working? I said, well, we got to watch the age situation. I know your family. And he walked over to the computer and printed out the Indiana labor laws and showed me how many hours per week before 7 p.m. that he can work. So he even wants to be involved. And we're fortunate with him. He is a card-carrying advanced member by the association. So he is rated above 4.0 at 14 years old. So we really have to be careful of what we have in front of us because we don't want to just worry about business. Again, as I mentioned earlier with him about basketball, he is that much better with pickleball. So now we see his friends, and we spent a week with Hanover Central Middle School. We took over the gym classes, and the staff was nice enough to let us come in. And we had every type of child. We know that there's kids that are super athletic. We know there's kids that don't like gym at all. However, we had every single child playing pickleball. And it wasn't kudos to us or myself or Jen. It was just learning the social habits of each person and putting them in their own environment. And next thing you know, by Thursday, everybody's playing. And I think that's what a huge thing for us to learn is, sure, it's pickleball. It's a sport. Absolutely. But we have people that come in with their chins down, shoulders forward, social anxiety. They haven't seen these people before. Yet we explain to them the situation. You come in, you put your paddle on a rack, you rotate, you move on, and we put you in a level that you should be in. And 30 minutes later, you look in there. They're sitting on a bench. They're talking with somebody. They're moving on. And then they're walking out an hour and a half, 2 hours later, and you just see their body's opened up, they feel much better, and then we see them a second and third time. That's where the family aspect of what we do makes it feel so much better. Yes, we want to be successful, but to watch people who have now played for a year and a half, they couldn't hit the ball. They couldn't even stand there and tap the ball in the paddle. And now they're in our bubble league tournament, or now they're in our intermediate leagues. And that's where it's really fun to watch everything, the human aspect of the sport, for us at least, transform.
Well, you bring up a great story there. I mean, I never even thought about the curriculum part of the school. I mean, because when gym class, I mean, it's difficult to get people to come out and play, kickball or whatever they're going to do. And here, I mean, you're absolutely correct. This sport you're talking about, and it took a little time for us to warm up to it because we had a little bit of history of just being upset at the sport. Not so much the sport itself, just how it was presented to us. Mm-hmm. That's a story by itself. Mm-hmm. But once we had our Tuesday talks at your location, and we actually got on the court, and you just saw how quickly we gravitated towards the excitement of what this is, because it can be very competitive. But at the same time, it can be very enjoyable based on no matter what level you're at, and feel like you can contribute to the sport at any given time once you walk on the court.
We have a lot of people from the church, I'll say, not a church, but the church. Their tone up front when they're paying, so nice, just refreshing. You get them on the court, and that ball was out. Are you sure it was out? And now that demeanor changed a little bit to, so that's fun to see the competition come out of all styles.
Well, it is true. And I believe there's some decorum that's supposed to be used on the court as well. I mean, I've seen some challenges to that sometimes with some of the players we played with, because you have to, you want to be cordial to the group next to you. And
sure,
you might have a group that's a little more spirited, more passionate, and you got to sometimes tone that down, because you want that family atmosphere, but you want at the same time to have that competitiveness that's out there. And the competitiveness comes out based on whatever level you want to play. It's going to happen because you can be playing against a skilled player and maybe just an amateur, and you may lose, but you're still in the game at some point, because as long as you get, and the rules, you want to kind of explain the rules a little bit, because it really slows things down a little bit, so you can actually get into a consistent volley back and forth and stay out of the kitchen and things like that nature and stuff. But you kind of want to dive in a little bit what pickleball is and why it becomes life for most people.
Sure. Well, pickleball, you're basically hitting a wiffle ball with an oversized ping pong paddle on a miniature tennis court. So the reason why it's very popular with seniors is you're not having to cover the ground of a tennis court. You're maintaining a 15 by 10 foot square, and you just get up and let your hands do the talking more than your legs. And that's what really, really excels with the senior community. As far as the rules, the way I explain the game is also a little bit different. The kitchen being the center area, so you'll have two different color courts, whatever the colors are, but the center area, you cannot hit the ball on a fly, or in the air and stand in that area. I changed that a little bit with a safety rule. I can't stand next to the net and crush it back at you. So it's more of a safety rule. And then secondly, when you serve the ball across the court, just as in tennis, the ball has to bounce. When you return it, the ball also has to bounce. Another safety rule, if I put a really good serve on you and you just happen to lob it back at me, I can't crush it back at you. I have to let that ball bounce. So those two aspects of the game create a little bit safer of a boundary to where you're not having somebody just shooting a ball past you that you didn't have a chance to come get. Now, I will say, the higher level of play, the faster that ball is moving. And also the higher level of play, the less fun. So when you are a beginner player, it's laughter, it's giggling because you're embarrassed about the hit you may have, and then you move up a little bit, and then you start getting a little bit more serious about your play. When you become an upper intermediate or advanced player, you're now focused on your skill level. And that's where it's up to us as a facility. We see a transition when the building is. You have a lot of beginner players, as we call bubble level players. I'll get there in a second. But then it starts transitioning into a more of an intermediate crowd. It's very important to keep that separate. And that's where, with us only having the 4 courts, because when we opened up, we didn't know if this was going to take off. So our risk was we were happy with the 4 courts. But now it's very, very, very important to keep those areas different, because the intermediate, it's serious. It's you're there for skill level. Beginner, you're there maybe for fun, get your heart rate up a little bit, and enjoy the game. So we keep that separate. The area that we felt like we really made an impact on the sport was we had a lot of beginner players that no, they're never going to be ready for intermediate play, but they're better than beginner. So Pickle Time basically started because I do work with the NBA, and we were in the 2020 season was in Disney, and we call it the NBA bubble. And we also have a kindergarten teacher that helped me with the term too. But to help these people move on to another level, we started a space or another level of play in between beginner and intermediate called bubble. Okay, and that is by far our most popular brand in league tournament setting by far, because you have so many people. They're just not going to be athletic enough to play intermediate, but they are better than the beginner. And it's the laughter, but you're still working on a skill level, and it's really taken off for us.
Well, I think we should, as the South Shore, initiate a tournament for the municipalities, because I think we always talked about having these like Olympics with different municipalities, whether it's Hammond, Crown Point, Hobart. Pickle Time and Pickleball would be something I think they could all
Everyone
could show into, and put 4 to 8 people from each municipality and have a large tournament, and crown the South Shore Pickle Time champion of municipalities, and through our leadership, and and obviously whoever rises up out of that municipality can play Greg and I for the actual true cup, and then actually pass out a Pickle Time trophy. I think we should facilitate that.
I agree, and don't let everybody fool you. When these two gentlemen get on the court, I did mention the church people about how they're nice out at the reception area, and then they come back. These two gentlemen, don't let them fool you. They're ferocious. They love the sport. They come in, but the heat is on, and you two both, how you both have progressed in playing the sport. So we've seen it with you two as well. Yeah. In the beginning, you didn't know what to do, and now it's smoke, and you guys do really well.
There's been research and maybe some off-court practicing taking place, and I'm not going to confirm or deny that, but we have a competitive spirit in us that when you get on a court, you typically you leave your friendship behind and you play competitive sports out there. So pickleball is not any different for us.
I follow Dink on TikTok.
Yeah,
a lot of good videos.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty unique name. How'd you come up with that name? And do you ever get any weird phone calls thinking it's something different?
Yes. I'll start with that question first. We were open maybe 2.5 months, and we had a biker gang pull in the parking lot.
Okay.
Now I have hair gel, athletic clothing on, so I see 8 to 12 bikers pull in, and I said, well, this is going to be interesting. Back their bike in and had their chains and leather fly. I said, well, I don't think those are approved pickleball shoes, but let's see what we're going to get here. Right. They thought we were a pickle bar, so they were coming in for some shots. Oh. And explained to them kindly that we do sell pickles, and we do have adult beverages called pain meds, but that's not what they were looking for. So we'd have to turn that away. But the Pickle Time, fascinating enough, again, I was driving, had to come up with a name, a slogan, a logo, everything. And our 17-year-old, when obviously he was 15 at the time, his friend just drew a pickle, which almost resembles this. And then I called my brother. I was really struggling. And I said, I got to come up with something. And he says, remember that video game when we were kids? And it was called Burger Time, where the chef ran across and knocked the bun down and the burger down. And
Chris is
and
going, yes.
I remember that one.
Now we got Chris. Yeah. I told him, I said, hang up the phone, call me back. And he called me. I said, welcome to Pickle Time. How can I help you? And it just took. And then we had a marketing crew that drew everything. That was really helpful via marketing. They kind of put it all together for us. And now it has become a logo to where I show people, before I show them, I say, whatever mood you're in, you could be a bad mood, just had a bad day, I'm just going to show you something, and I guarantee you put a grin on your face. And it is true. It's 100% of the time. I show people a logo, and they just giggle. They just don't know what to do with it.
Well, I remember the first time you came into the city and kind of say, this is my idea. And we're like, what do we got here? What are we opening up here? And then when you explain it all, and especially the backstory and how you were stuck in the bubble, because maybe people don't know your backstory and what you really do. This is taken off to be a very time-consuming but a family-oriented business. But how did you get to even come up with this idea? Because you were stuck in that story. So I think that story by itself is pretty creative.
Again, I work with the NBA, and when it was announced that we were going to have a complete season in Disney, we were taken back a little bit. I spent over 100 days for the NBA season. We got to about 3/4 of the way through, and people were really starting to mentally break down. We had to fill out a survey. We were COVID tested every morning, and we had to fill out a survey before 11 o'clock every morning. The last question on that survey was, are you in need of a mental health therapist? It was getting serious. People were missing their children, their family, everything, homesick, because we literally would leave our room, walk to a convention area to a buffet style enclosure. They would put the food in your container. You walk back to your room and eat. You would get on the bus to head to ESPN Wide World of Sports. You come back, go to your room. It was really, really, really stressful and strict because we were in the height. I mean, that was in the height of COVID. And we didn't have one person get sick in the bubble. Get through 3/4 of the way through. Now we're in the playoffs. A lot of teams left. And now it opened up. Coronado Springs is where the resort we were at. And Disney was kind enough to put pickleball courts, tape pickleball courts on the asphalt in the parking lot. And that allowed us to get out of our rooms. And it's a sport to where you're still spread out a little bit. We were still masked. You know, playing pickleball with mask on was entertaining. But it really took an interest. I never heard of pickleball 2.5 years ago. Never even heard of it. Now I come home. I look for a place to play pickleball. And I did hear of a place here and there, but it was really transitioning. They take something and convert it, and it wasn't a time to play. Now, the NBA mentioned that we were going to have a G League bubble, their developmental league, another bubble, another 69 days in the bubble. So what I did then, while I'm in my room, some people were learning how to play an instrument, some people were learning another language. I did all my homework on how to open up a facility. From the flooring to the material to the paddles, the balls, TVs, the whole deal. And I came home, met with Crown Point, and you did kind of give me that look of something must have just happened with pickleball because I don't think you were very happy with pickleball. So I walked in, I was a little nervous, and then I threw that logo up there, and everybody, I remember everybody on the board just kind of giggled at the logo. So the sacrifice of Jen, the boys, she had to run everything while I was gone. Everything, 170 days gone. And then me being in the bubble. So we just basically put everything in the middle, started Pickle Time. And because of that, Jen was able to retire from her hospital job to come over to Pickle Time full time. And like you said, our oldest son, Matt, he's there. We have family. You know, we have our niece that works there. And it just builds on and on and on. So, and now what we're starting to see is our niece, Claudia, and Matthew, and Matea, and Colin, and Drew, they're all starting to move on. They're seniors or ones that, going to be going off to college. Right. So now we have to start a whole new regime of employees, and that's what we're starting to see on that front. So that's how we started. It was from a sacrifice. And now to see it, I'm not going to kid you. I mean, we've teared up many a time to see, holy cow, this is a thing. And that's what helps because in the beginning, Jen was, no, what we're doing what? We have another business, right? And it was not good. But I just really felt in my heart that this style of a business, I didn't know it was going to be this socially, accepting, but it really is fascinating. And the flip side of that is the people of Crown Point, when I mentioned that we were looking for another facility, they're all asking, you're staying here, right? You're going to stay in the area. And I vouched, I will stay in the area because it's everybody in the community has made us who we are. And to have to jumpstart this in another area would just be foolish.
Yeah, I mean, how many total people I'm hearing over nearly almost 1,000 people are like part of your organization just in the Crown Point market area or the Northwest Indiana area. Just they know who you are. They've come out and played. We've seen it personally. We walk in and we were religiously trying to play it. Like last year, we were playing it every Wednesday. Then we started to get back here, in the last couple of weeks. And at 3 o'clock, it's standing room only to get a court time over there.
Right. We have it's not our app, but it's a national sporting app called Team Reach. Again, we were hoping to maybe have 100 to 150 people after a year, and we're approaching 1,000.
Yeah.
And those are pickleball people. This is not a Facebook account or something that's just advertising or trying to blog. It is just pickleballers. So that has also helped. Say in our leagues, if you can't make a league one night, you just text in there, I need a sub for the 6 p.m. Monday night league. Boom, somebody will jump on it right away. So that whole communication system with the Team Reach has helped. And then just coming in, you see people that we explain to them at the door. Come take a look. you look at the courts first, because it is a who's up next theory, old school basketball, or put your quarter on the pool table. And so you put your paddle in the rack, and when your time's up, you play and you shuffle in. However, that's a choice. We don't just, when you're at the register, we tell you come take a look. It's your choice. If not, come back or approach us on Team Reach or give us a call before you come in so we can let you know. Because that face of, oh, you're busy, it's a great look because we're busy, but it's a horrible look when you're having to turn somebody away. And again, that's hence the got to look for that other facility.
Our job Greg, in our current position is to help raise the awareness of municipalities, what they can do for quality of life projects. I know in Crown Point, we took a lot of our tennis courts and we converted them. They can still play tennis, but we converted the pickleball application on all those courts. And we saw more people coming out and utilize our outdoor sports over the last year with pickleball than we were tennis. And I'm just saying that tennis has not fallen second to what it is. But like you said before, tennis is something that you have to have a little bit more, I would say, athletic skill to be able to cover as much court time you have out there. You get 4 people out there with a pickleball setup like that, it's a good time. And you can, like you said, it helps you socially engage. It gets you a little bit of activity. It's not as intimidating, and we're seeing more of that being done for quality of life projects for residents in each of these municipalities. That we encourage other municipalities to go ahead and make sure they're converting their outdoor courts to have this application out there. Don't get caught up. It has to be, facing north, south, all that stuff. Just get people out there to enjoy the sport, and they're going to really have a more opportunity socially to get together and have a little bit of activity. And that's what pickleball does. Mm-hmm. There is a rising another application to pickleball that's taking place in Florida. I don't know if we want to dive into that, and I guess we can talk about it. But what is this big craze with this in Florida with the naked pickleball?
If I have one more person,
send me that. We have to ask you that. I mean, that was one of the questions people asked us. I mean,
yeah, my response.
That can't be true. Come on.
It is.
Oh, geez, are you serious?
No, it's a thing. I mean, actually, not that I know anything about this topic, but there's communities already before pickleball that you have that community. Well, they picked up a ball and a paddle, and now in those communities, and they're keeping themselves busy, apparently.
So those types of communities are having social activities as well, apparently.
Yes.
That's probably the extent of it, right?
I'm not looking to.
It's not being endorsed by the National Pickleball.
No. Where I mean, we were asked about blacklight pickleball. That sounds like fun, but not naked. No. Okay. Not right. That side of it. We don't want to be pickled.
It was brought to my attention. I said I'll definitely ask it. I don't think it was something that's part of the book of business that's out there, but
that costs extra, right? If you wanted that,
hourly wise.
Yeah, it's there's been many. It's amazing the people that have a sense of humor on social media that you see in person. They don't have that same sense of humor, but the amount of comments that came in was, "Are we looking to get pickled?"
Oh,
I'm going to leave that be. So yeah, it's we're not gonna venture into the naked pickleball, especially in the summer with the garage doors open. It's just not gonna bode well.
Yeah, Off Square might frown on that.
Yeah, that would probably be a thing. Yep.
Yeah. So the other question I had was, do you actually have the mascot costume for Pickle Time? Is somebody actually have like
being parades?
Yeah, I mean, look at the colors. That would be perfect for the St. Patty's Day parade with somebody in the green pickle up and down Main Street there, and really promoting the Pickle Time here in Crown Point in the only nighttime St. Patty's Parade, probably in Northwest Indiana or in the Midwest.
For sure.
Yeah, I'll actually dip into that and how ironic enough to where what we're speaking about today. With our other company, we actually did work at the Mascot Hall of Fame in Wedding.
Okay.
So yes, the pressure is on that we need to have our mascot, but a few renderings, it didn't look satisfying enough, because if we live and we live near the Mascot Hall of Fame, and I did work in the Mascot Hall of Fame, it needs to be legit. Especially working with the NBA, we're fortunate enough to work with some of the best mascots in the world.
They're truly athletes. Have you seen the mascot games? I mean, it's impressive.
Yes. We just had the Bulls Pistons in Paris. So we had, the Bulls and Pistons mascots, and who are two of the best in Paris, and it's just fascinating to watch. So, but again, the costume, the outfit, we know if we're going to do the mascot that it has to be legit, especially with a pickle, because a pickle can go wrong really quick if it's not designed properly. Yeah, the dill, the dink, the doink, all the comments.
It's got to be kosher.
It has to be. Yes. So, but that is a huge conversation about the mascot.
So can we get a commitment from you today that there is something in the works for a mascot?
No, there is. This has already been a conversation piece.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's why I said I can't have something come out that's not good with the other portion of what we do for a living.
Would it be ready for March 17th this year?
It will not be ready.
No. Right.
We are actually looking to have a customer appreciation day on May 13th. So we're hoping to have it all ready by then.
Okay.
4th of July parade then.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we will definitely be in the parade.
Nothing says pickle in the middle of summertime down Main Street at 95 degrees.
Yeah, black asphalt.
Yeah.
Well, which is the other thing with you mentioning the outdoor courts is we learned in July and August how many people don't want to play outside. So Jen and my thought was, let's see how we're going to get through the summer. We did open in July of 2021, but it wasn't the full summer. But going through 2022 was basically where are we going to stand now? And we learned how many people just don't. So that's why we built up on our tournaments. We built up on our leagues, our drill camps, our lessons. Everything really kept us going. Drop-in play, of course, dropped because people want to play outside. But a lot of them, we learned that they just don't want to play with the heat or with the wind or with the elements outside when it's hot.
So you're talking maybe, a second facility or a new facility. Are you going to have like cameras above each court? So if there's a controversial call, we can actually go to the, throw a flag and actually, that ball was in or out and end some of these conversations and because, you've seen us play. There's been some conversations about that ball being in or out.
Yeah, it gets a little intimidating coming down to court 3 and explaining to you fellas, listen, guys, we need to keep it down. You're starting to scare the others. But no, really, we want to keep it what pickleball is all about. Even if you watch the pros right now, the players call the shots. The referee will step in if it's just egregious. Mm-hmm. But if the ball is on that side of the court and it's in or out, those two players call that ball in or out. If you don't know, then it's the benefit of the other side. No questions asked. Oh. The cameras, we've heard multiple conversations about cameras. It'd be nice to see in the facility. And then there's some negative people that say, I don't want to be seen. Don't put cameras up. So we're just going to leave the cameras alone right now. Just keep those security based. Mm-hmm. But it's a good point to where, but other
tournament style may be different, right? I mean,
sure. But again, even in tournaments and leagues, that's the way pickleball is played. Even at the professional level, you call your side. And that's it. There's no arguing or bickering. So if I do have to step in during a league or tournament, then it's not a replay. No. We're gonna make. We're all players here. We're gonna make that call right now. And again, if the ball is on this side and they don't know, it goes to the other side.
I agree. I think he's having a tough time with that one.
When you come back a second time, it's just no.
Okay, I can buy into that philosophy.
Yeah,
I've evolved.
That's debatable.
It's been tough. Yeah,
See, we can get past that.
When we don't have to see anymore what's going on, we recognize the voice. Yeah. Then we know it's about to happen. So it's just we'll hide.
All right, Larry. So for our visitors and viewers here today, give them the contact number, the website, or any way how they can contact Pickle Time to, if you're a novice or a beginner. How did I get a hold of you?
Sure. Correct address.
Yeah, the proper address. Well, again, we're at 10960 Delaware Parkway. And our website is pickletime.fun. And you can find us on Facebook, again, at Pickle Time, or at Team Reach. Again, Team Reach not only is just communicating about our facility, but it's also we have a full calendar of daily events. So in case you're wondering if it's going to be busy or have something going, everything from our corporate parties, birthday parties, leagues, tournaments, drill camps. So Team Reach is the app you can pull in your app store or Droid, anything to get into downloading or uploading Team Reach. And our code is 00083.
All right. Chris, how are we doing on time?
It's your show. You can go as long as you want. You can go as short as you want.
Wow, we told we had 1 hour. That's all they paid for.
Yeah.
So speaking of how we pay for the show, I think we need to do the second part of our ads.
All right. Well, we got Byway Brewing here. Byway Brewing is a family-friendly microbrewery with a spacious tap room and outside patio. Our brewing equipment offers a unique backdrop for your private event, like weddings, reunions, or corporate parties. We are also conveniently located just off of 8094 and Kennedy Avenue, South Exit, directly across from the Indiana Welcome Center. Come by and enjoy Byway's award-winning beers and unbeatable menu. For more information, check us out, bywaybrewing.beer.
So is that Press Tamers? Am I reading that right?
Yeah, I would go with that.
Okay. Press Tamer Insurance Company, Ron Press Tamer Insurance Agency, has been located for decades right on Indianapolis Boulevard, serving for all your insurance needs. They specialize in a wide variety of insurance products, serving including auto, home, business, life, and much, much more. Press Tamer Agency serves over 1,000 people and businesses in all Chicagoland and Midwest. Call Ron or Ronnie or Michael at 219-844-0103. That's Press Tamer Insurance Agency, located here on the Indianapolis Boulevard.
What would you do if you didn't know how to pronounce that, like in a normal setting? Would you just went with like, hey, Ron's Insurance Agency? Or just kind of mumbled through the last name?
I'd skip right over it.
Yeah.
I've modified it a few times.
Yeah.
That's what you do. I mean, you fake it till you make it, right? I mean, nobody knows what I'm reading here.
No.
Until you just expose that.
Should have been phonetically written out for you.
Well,
yeah, that would have helped.
We got this like midnight last night. I mean, it wasn't like, it really gave us all the keys to the kingdom here.
No.
So.
Just left it open.
The next one is Contrell, attorneys at law, because I'm saving that last one for you. You know that, right? We talked about this on the way in here. Are you injured or in trouble with the law? Give us a call and schedule your consultation today with someone who is in court and at the jail every day. Call John Cantrell at 219-554-4LAW or visit their website at bettercallcantrell.com. John and his wife, Christine, make a great team and waiting to hear from you. Hopefully they don't have to use them. I mean, come on. I mean, it's just, maybe you can do some things that like some estate planning or something like that. But, hopefully you're not in a situation where, you did something wrong.
Chris, did John show you how to do like the sound effects and things? Do you know how to do that?
For like the commercial here?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm one of the reasons why it changed, because the first time I had to do this show is when they decided to have this sound effect and have it play, and we were playing it all in the monitors here, but it wasn't going live. So Tom's dancing around to the music, and nobody at home could hear what was going on.
So this is one of my favorite jingles of Tortillas Nuevo Leon. Is the gold standard in Mexican cuisine throughout the Midwest. Look for Tortillas Nuevo Leon's popular red and white label at your local grocery store and enjoy quality Mexican products made with local expertise.
There's a song.
Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón. Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia, de todo corazón.
See?
Well done.
Well done, Chris.
I pushed the button again.
Yeah. Excellent.
Well, I'm going to turn down now because I'm going to look at, we've got, let's see how many. Since we're not looking at this, people who are watching us. Our chairman's watching, Andy Cornell. We can't do what we do, Greg, on each everyday basis without having our board of directors having their support. We have 19 board members represent all the municipalities and all the way from the governor's office all the way up to here, and they're made up of people that have some type of tourism background or things that are going to move the economic wheel to Northwest Indiana together, and having that collective voice come together really makes our job easier, especially when we look at our collection of dollars that make up our industry. And of course, we couldn't do it without I think we're almost up to 190 partners now of the South Shore. So if you are somebody that owns a business in Northwest Indiana and you want to become a partner of the South Shore, that helps with the motivation of us going ahead and bringing these book of business of these tournaments or showcasing our beautiful shorelines of Lake Michigan, our historical downtowns, our restaurants. We got Restaurant Week coming up starting on February 27th. So we can savor the region and savor Northwest Indiana. You can become part of the book of business that the South Shore is all about. And we encourage you to get a hold of Barb Mack at our office and be able to become a partner. And we have different sizes. So whether you don't necessarily even have to be somebody that's in the tourism business, right? I mean, you just want to see great things happen in Northwest Indiana, and you want to be able to help us have a little bit of dollars out there, because when we go to an event owner that's nationally and they want to bring their event here, we've got to buy that event here, and that's how we bring that business here. So that's kind of the money that we put on the street, so to say. And once we get that event owner to come here and commit to Northwest Indiana, then everything else takes care of itself. We bring the visitors, we show them the hotels, we show the restaurants, we show the attractions, the shopping opportunities, the historical, like I said, the historical downtowns, everything that Northwest Indiana has to offer that's economically not expensive, but you get the quality out of it. It is a very great place to come. And those numbers are growing each and every year, Larry and Greg. And so if you want to become a partner, you can reach out to us at southshore.com. Our website is very user-friendly, and you're able to become a partner on there, and we're able to, one, showcase your business on an everyday basis, but then two, that part of that buy-in, we go out there and bring all these people to Northwest Indiana through the tourism side. But more importantly, too, people, when they talk about tourism, they think that we're bringing people from outside the region, which is part of our mission statement, but we want to also showcase the local tourism side. So, like, we want people from Cedar Lake to be able to come up to Hammond to go down to Schererville, Crown Point to go visit Whiting. There's tourism within your own book of business here and what you do and how you're able to just showcase great things that are being done in the region.
Yeah, I think one of the big changes that we're bringing, maybe it's small, but you typically go somewhere and you get a visitor's guide kind of for that area. We're changing it up, calling it our area guide. So it's not just for visitors. It's, like Dave said. And there's some exciting things coming up this week in the region. Some things here in Hammond. Ice Cube is going to be at the Horseshoe on January 28th.
Did you know that?
I did not know that.
See, that you're getting breaking news on left of center and from the South Shore, Larry.
Yeah. No, many things. County Line Orchard is going to be hosting the Big Barn Beer Fest on the same day, the 28th. So maybe you hit up County Line Orchard for the Beer Fest and head up to Hammond for catch a nice show with Ice Cube.
Yeah.
A lot of options in the area.
A lot of options. I think there's a comedy night too, is there?
Yep, we got a comedy night this weekend also. In downtown LaPorte is the Winterfest. There's improv comedy at the Anderson Winery. We have Once Upon a Weekend at Fair Oaks, so you can go down to Fair Oaks and up to Hammond and over to LaPorte. And many things for family-friendly activities. Yeah,
I mean, you start talking about the dunes, the marina up there in Hammond. We got Game of Chances. We got three very successful casinos in Northwest Indiana, from the Hard Rock to Maristar to the Horseshoe. You've got your outdoor sporting things from the Railcats to the Corn Dogs to just many different things that we're part of that's out there. But Greg, I did notice that you are wearing something on your shirt today that we haven't even talked about, Larry. We're really geared on sports here today, right? You can see our passion. Yes. The Indiana High School Association has their girls sectionals starts next week.
Coming up.
And, we have sectional pods, in Griffith. Valparaiso is going to be playing down at Lowell, where Crown Point's going to play. I believe Lake Central's hosting. Andrean's hosting. So we actually referee high school basketball. Okay, we've played it, we've coached it, now we're refereeing it. And one thing that we want to continue to remind people out there, that when they go to these games, support the kids. They play hard, support your coaches, but more importantly, support those officials out there. My goodness, I don't know about you, Greg, but over the last couple of years, it's gotten much worse on the fan interaction about just how people view the game. We were just at a game this weekend, not wearing the whistle per se. We went to the Purdue Maryland game, and we're sitting in the stands and watching the game of basketball, and I can just hear the fan interaction on the court. And from a referee standpoint, I'm watching the game because I'm a basketball purist and I love the game itself. But I just can't believe the things I hear out of people, how they just don't understand the physicality of what basketball is today, and they assume just because a player is making contact with another player, they need you to yell to give that person a foul. It is unheard of anymore.
Well, what's one thing you say to coaches in the coaches meeting before the game?
Well, first of all, two things we say to coaches. We're going to talk in a respectful and professional manner. If we can't do that, we're not having a conversation no more, because sometimes the coaches get involved in the politics of the sport because they want the next call. We understand that. But the other part is, this is a contact sport. Our job is to be able to go ahead and decipher, is it a illegal contact or just part of the game contact, and that's where the difference maker is. You're going to have contact. And if somebody's not getting an advantage, somebody didn't lose the basketball, somebody didn't fall down, and they're able to, go through. Larry, when you go watch a basketball game, are you there to see every play be whistled and stopped? Are you looking for a flow of the game?
With my responsibilities, fortunately, unfortunately, I am courtside for every game. So let's go back to the bubble. I was part of all 205 games. So to your point, it was so amazing to be at so many games where there's no fans. Okay? It was so difficult to be in an arena setting and there's 50 people, not counting the players and coaches. Now you come out of that and I go to a middle school game. I'm in culture shock. I mean, I was literally twitching with how the parents or whatever are screaming at a referee. Screaming. I had just left the NBA 205 games. I get it was quiet. But now we transition to 2 years later, and it's out of control. And does it need to be monitored more? Well, it becomes a situation where, as the arenas, as the NBA, or as a facility, you want to be able to speak your mind. If you keep the language down and have your opinion, that's fine. But it really has become, in the last 2 years or so, really almost abusive. You see referees walking out.
That's the big challenge, too, because it doesn't bother us as much. I mean, we just get yelled at. I mean, it's just part of the game. But there are some younger officials coming through the ranks that, listen, they're not going to get yelled at. I mean, they can do something else.
Yeah.
And if we don't have the new generation of officials coming through, we're getting older, and we're being asked to do, 5-6 games a week.
Yep.
And that's becoming very daunting on us. And, and if the fan interaction doesn't get better, and you hear the announcements from the PA people each and every game, hey, have respect for the players, have respect for the coaches, have respect for, and it just goes on deaf ears sometimes. And and unfortunately, yeah, we're not going to be perfect on the court. Okay, sure. The angles might be different from where you're sitting at what we see, but the continued yelling from the people that don't even understand the rules, that's what gets frustrating.
Sure. And speaking of Hammond, this had to be 3 years ago. Big tournament, and we're in the finals. And there was a parent next to me and just giving this ref the business. The ref did have a bad game. But the ref walked over, he put his shirt over his mouth, and he said, and I heard every word, quote, "If this is too much for you, maybe you should wait in your vehicle." And he walked away. And that's it. That parent never said another word. The ref didn't give him any business. He wasn't looking at him or causing a situation. He simply walked over, covered his mouth, said what he had to say, and walked away. And it worked for both people. So kudos to that ref, because that's acting. He did have a tough game. He did. But he handled it just the right way on a one-on-one basis and walked away.
We've seen, unfortunately, we've seen through social media side, because anything that happens in the world today, you'll find out 1 minute later, right? And, we've seen where officials have been attacked on the floor, over a call. Okay. I mean, that doesn't set the message right if you're trying to recruit people to come in, because if you've got inexperienced referees coming up and you have to have them come through the ranks and files from the, from the AAU programs and the junior high programs and the freshmen and JV, and if that's the type of atmosphere that they're going to have, because they're going to make mistakes, because until they get enough games under their belt and see the experience, and I've been doing it for over 20 some years. My crew that I work with, Greg, you've been doing it how long now? It's collectively over 18 years. Larry Simano has been doing it for 35 some years, and he's done state finals. And then Paul Weisner works with us; he's 20 some years. There are times that we see things that we've never seen before, even in our experience. And it's how you manage the game, how you react to it, and we try to keep an even keel out there. But we might be the exception, not the rule, of what officials are going through right now.
I think what's happened, including in baseball, you see it probably more in baseball. The distance that you gain between the fan and the referee umpire, the more the opinions to be given, because they know that there's nothing to be held accountable for it. But you also see the parents are becoming more and more passionate about having their child move up, whether it's softball, baseball, basketball, whatever has a governing body to be out there and control the situation. The parents are becoming more passionate. They need their child to move up. They need their child to progress. And when they feel that when I air quote and say the child has been cheated, now that's where the parents' personal emotions kick in, and then they go in attack mode because they don't feel that their child was dealt with fairly. But that's part of life as well. And again, I coached forever. I coached, with baseball. I did this, and I would have parents, get on me a little bit. And I would say the same thing. Listen, you're going to fail in life. Not everything is fair. It's up to that child to progress and move on from there and handle it differently. If an umpire is calling a ball outside all the time, make the adjustment. If a referee is knowing that you have your elbow the way you're taught in practice, keep your elbow on the player while you're boxing out, and he doesn't like that, don't do it anymore. So it's up to us as parents. Also be passionate, but teach the kids how to adjust to the situation, the umpire, the referee. And then I think that's the major play here. But just to get upset because your child's being cheated, that's not working out too well.
Yeah, and I think some of the parents don't realize how much we communicate with the players on the floor. Just to your point, they assume that we're just going to go ahead and make a call because it's our opinion and it's our viewpoint. We actually manage the players better than on the floor and have that conversation because we don't want to put air in the whistle. We always tell them in pregame, hey, listen, we don't want to see if your hands are on somebody, we're going to tell you to get them off. Mm-hmm. You're in the lane, get out of the lane, right? We don't want to put air in the whistle. We want to see a flow to the game, and there's a lot of communication. When it becomes repetitive and after the fact 2 or 3 times, it's no different than you're at home. Hey, I've told you to go ahead and do the dishes. Mm-hmm. I told you to do this stuff. I mean, an elevation takes place there, right? Basketball or any sport is the same way. So I guess my point wasn't here of a, we haven't cussed in the show here that we can. It wasn't a bitch session about, parents and about officials. Mm-hmm. We actually wanted to say that next week's tournament is taking place, and we want to wish all the regional teams in Northwest Indiana success. This is their main event now. The regular season was their dress rehearsal, right? Postseason, the records get tossed out. Everyone starts 0-0, and you're supposed to play your best basketball at the end of the year. And so we wish all the regional ladies teams here in Northwest Indiana great success. Hopefully each one of them have an experience that's going to last a lifetime. Unfortunately, if there's only going to be 4 teams in the state of Indiana that doesn't feel the defeat of their last game, but it's just how you play between the lines and the relationships and sportsmanships and all that stuff that you have. From the coach's perspective to the player's perspective, they do a great job. We just want to wish them nothing but success next week and the sectionals across the region.
And there's a lot of good basketball in the region. We see it when we go to some games, especially during the week, that fan attendance is down. These kids are putting in the time and effort and getting out and go to those sectional sites and support some of your local teams, support your alum where you went to school, and get some good basketball. And one interesting thing about basketball in Indiana, like you said, the records go to 0 at sectional time. There's a random draw. So you may have the 2 teams with the best record play on a Tuesday night in the first round. Yeah. And so anyone can come out of a sectional as a champion. So it's exciting basketball.
So I thought I explained myself. This is a podcast. We can cuss on here, okay? Mayor Tom's done. What's his meter, custom meter up to?
His F-bomb meter.
Yeah. It's on the board back there. So, yeah, it's way up there. So
I'm kind of new here.
Yeah, so saying somebody said, hey, you said the B word on the air.
Oh.
No, it's a podcast.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want.
Yeah, I thought we've kept it very PG here.
Yeah.
Would you agree, Larry?
Pickleball, yes.
Yeah, pickleball.
Yeah, it's pickleball. We don't cuss. Not at all.
So, if I offended somebody out there, sorry. I'm just saying that's a word that happens out there. They complain. I guess you could have used to another level, but I think I wanted to make sure the point was made that perfect example. I mean, I don't want to harp on this anymore. That keep it fair for both sides. You look at the board; it's 7-7 in fouls. I mean, I don't know how much more even it could be, but we don't count them. We just call them. And sometimes, there's going to be a winner or loser in the scoreboard. The scoreboard will dictate every game that's out there. If you want to describe who's winning and losing, we as a crew, and I know a lot of people, other crews do this, but we make sure that we nominate a student athlete on every team after every game to the state of Indiana for sportsmanship, for doing great things in the court. It could be the simplest thing as hand us a basketball and they say thank you or here you go, sir. Or we watch somebody knock a player down, put their hand up, help them pick them up. We watch that besides the game itself. And then if we see somebody that steps up and is doing based on a perfect example of what sportsmanship's all about, we take the time to put in a report to the state of Indiana and send it to the school that player, and there could be multiple players on it, but that one just stood out, and they get recognition as being part of the solution to good sportsmanship, not part of the problem of the lack thereof.
Yeah, so that player gets the nomination, they get a pin for their letterman's jacket, a certificate, and then the school gets recognized for being sportsmanship minded.
Yeah, so we see it full circle. So again, we're not here to, pat ourselves on the back. I just want to make sure that we encourage other officials to do the same thing, because I think if we do more of that, they'll see some more of the buy-in, that it is more than just us showing up, blowing a whistle for 32 minutes and then leaving it and not caring about what's taking place out there. So, but have we missed anything today? I don't know. I mean, hopefully we, had a good show, keep this streak alive, because I think that's what it was all about, right, Chris? Was keeping the streak alive for Mayor Tom and Kevin. That's been going on for 8 seasons. And how many episodes is this? I'm not sure, but 7. Episode 7. So, again, I don't know how many episodes are in a season.
No.
And can you have multiple seasons in one year? It has to be, right?
Chris says yes.
Yeah.
What are you drinking there?
I'm drinking a tea. I drink this, try to drink this daily. This is from Higher Level Nutrition at 123 East 93rd Avenue in Crown Point. Start with a protein shake a day and then match it up with that's a green tea. I believe there's a cranberry additive to it. It's something I enjoy. What about you?
I also went to Higher Level this morning, but this is a Nutter Butter Shake.
Oh, you brought the shake in.
Yeah, I brought the shake. They're a partner of the South Shore.
They are.
Partner.
They are. And again, I got that address correct because it's right there in front of me. I apologize. I know it's not off. I mean, but it could be 110. It's south of 109th, so you can see where something on my internet showed me was 110, but it's definitely 109. It's off that new beautiful roadway that people can easily navigate and approach there. You got a McDonald's on the corner there now. You got another hotel coming in that corner there. So it's a very easy, accessible location to be able to locate you to come play Pickle Time, not only in Crown Point, but anybody in the region.
Sure, that flag off of 109th and I-65, it's massive in our world.
Yeah,
especially for the outdoor courts. We have to look at the flag. We need to know where the wind is going. So that flag is
that's why we
a beautiful
put it up.
thing. It's a great thing.
Yeah. You do have that outdoor court. Mm-hmm. So on the east side of the building.
Yes, 2 courts. Yep.
There's 2 courts now.
2 courts.
2 courts. Is that utilized in the summer?
We actually utilized it a month ago.
Really?
Yeah, we had the courts going, and both of them were filled. So we had a warm day in the 50s, and people were playing.
Wow. Well, that's Northwest Indian weather.
Yeah. So, what do you think about roundabouts, Larry?
Well, that's a whole other topic.
You like roundabouts?
I mean, I don't know if I'm about to get thrown out of here, but I love roundabouts.
That's great.
If people can use roundabouts properly, then roundabouts are a fascinating thing. Keep moving.
It's just the easier way to get through. I mean, there's no traffic backups. You looked at a person. If you're in the roundabout, you have the right of way.
Yep.
You yield to the car in the roundabout. It's that simple. You go right around the roundabouts, and you just keep moving.
The new generation for their driver's ed, at least one day needs to be taught for roundabouts, because being that close to one of the largest roundabouts in Crown Point is fascinating. How many times we see the red and blues over there because somebody's up on the middle of the roundabout. So,
okay, I believe we're over our hour.
Oh, we are?
I guess we are. Again, this show couldn't be done without the proud sponsors from like Byway Brewing, Preemster Insurance Company, Miss Printing, Power America, Rogers Roofing, Tri Electronics, Calumet Brewing, and your favorite, Control, and
Tortillas Nuevo Leon.
Yes. So thank you to those sponsors. Keep those dollars coming to Mayor Tom to be able to do the show. It's a great opportunity to hear what's going on in the region. He has a collective. I don't know who's coming on next week. Do we know, Chris? It's kind of a
no
as you go type show, but that'll be episode 8
of season 8.
Yeah, 8/8.
23.
Yeah, that'd be February. No, that's the 31st. We talked about that, right? Because it's sectional week.
Yeah, 8/8/88. That's a
great. I know that. You know what that means? 8/8/88. What happened on that day?
I was in high school.
Well, so was I.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, you weren't.
Oh, I was not out of high school. I was 2 years out of high school. I was in college. That's the first night game in the Wrigley Field.
Wow.
They got rained out against the Phillies.
Rockies fan.
And then Greg Maddox went sliding across the tarp. Yeah.
Rockies. It's
Rockies
barely even been a team. 93?
Yeah.
5.
95?
Yeah.
You guys won a World Series, what, like?
Never.
Oh.
That's what's great about them.
Dante Bichette?
Yeah. Vinny Castilla.
Larry Walker?
Yeah.
Andres Galarraga.
No, we can sit there all day long.
Yes.
Yeah. Big, lot of scoring.
A lot of scoring.
Mile high.
Yeah. All right, Chris, anything else that we missed?
No, I think you guys did a good job.
No. And we would like to just say, anybody who's viewing out there today, thanks for watching. Again, left to center is historically now something that's I think everybody looks forward to on a Tuesday morning at 7:30.
Especially in Denmark.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. Isn't it #1 rated show in Denmark? Did I get that right?
Sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be something made up at all.
We appreciate Mayor Tom for allowing us to use the studio this week. We wish him well wherever he's at. I hope he's enjoying himself and his entire crew. Chris, you did a great job. We didn't get any phone calls.
Yeah, no call-ins.
Oh, I shut everything else off.
Oh, this was a limited show.
That's right. There's only 1 or 2 buttons that I actually understand, and that's what we're going to go with.
We were able to start it, and you're going to be able to shut us off here shortly.
Yes,
I think
absolutely.
We've extended our time.
Yeah.
So we appreciate all our sponsors. If they have to pay a little bit more for this today, we apologize. But if not, I'm sure Mayor Tom can pick up the tab. And we left some gifts for Mayor Tom. We're going to leave it here. Chris will make sure he gets it. Whatever he leaves here will be for Tom and Kevin to be able to add to their collection here. So
All right.
on behalf of the South Shore Visitors Convention Authority, we would like to, did I say it? South Shore Convention Visitors Authority. We're still missing the convention center.
Yeah.
But we're working on that. We want to say thank you, Tom, for allowing us at Mayor Tom, allowing us on there to talk about our upcoming events. Larry, thank you for being on there to explain Pickle Time and its evolution and where it's at today. And we wish you nothing but success. And hopefully you don't have to come down to Court 3 as many times as you have in the past. We understand that now whatever is said in the court stays.
I appreciate you having me on. It was a good time, and thanks for letting me get all the information out.
Greg, great job as always. Chris, thanks for keeping the lights on.
Thank you.
I think this concludes Season 8, Episode 7.
All right.
Take care, everybody.